On the news tonight, President Tinubu transmits tax reform bills to National Assembly. Nigeria steps up engagement to ensure security in the Sahel region. Good evening and welcome to NTA Ijebu ode news at 7. My name is Anthony Gandonu. Here are the details of the news. President Bola Tinubu has transmitted the proposed fiscal policy and tax reform bills to the Senate for consideration and passage. Provisions in the bills align with ongoing financial reforms of the federal government to enhance efficiency in tax administration, harmonization and compliance, as well help reduce tax disputes. The bills include Nigerian Tax Bill, Nigerian Revenue Service Repeal and Reenactment Bill, Nigeria Tax Administration Bill, and Joint Revenue Board Establishment Bill.
Benefits to align with my government's objectives and fiscal reform and economic growth by enhancing taxpayer compliance, strengthening our fiscal institutions, and fostering a more effective and transparent fiscal regime.
Senate has in the meantime passed for second reading bill to establish a South-South Development Commission sponsored by Senator Asuko Ekpenyong and others from.
Similarly, House of Representatives has received from President Bola Tinubu 4 fiscal policy and tax reform bills to the House of Representatives for consideration and passage.
In his letter read by the Speaker, Tajuddin Abbas, the President says the proposed bills have substantial benefits that align with his administration's reforms to grow the nation's tax base, as well as promoting a more effective and transparent fiscal regime.
The number one is Nigerian Tax Bill, which should provide a consolidated fiscal framework for taxation in Nigeria. The second one is Nigerian Tax Administration Bill, which shall provide a clear and concise legal framework for the fair, consistent, and efficient administration of all the tax laws to facilitate ease of tax compliance, reduce tax disputes, and optimize revenue. The third bill is respect of the Nigerian Revenue Service Establishment Bill, which seeks to repeal the Federal Inland Revenue Service Establishment Act number 13 of 2007 and establishes the Nigerian Revenue Service to assess, collect, and account for revenue accruable to the government of the Federation. The fourth one is the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Bill, which shall establish the Joint Revenue Board, the Tax Appeal Tribunal, and the Office of the Tax Ombudsman for the harmonization, coordination, and settlement of disputes arising from revenue administration in Nigeria.
In other resolutions, the House called for speedy trials of persons in prolonged detention, as well as a probe into Team Nigeria's abysmal performance at the recent Paris Olympics.
These games came to a close with Team Nigeria returning disgracefully without a single medal, in spite of the enormous investment and preparation for the actual event.
To urge the Attorney General and Minister of Justice to review cases where individuals have been held in pre-trial detention for an extended period and take necessary steps to expedite their trials.
Urgent need to address massive killing, kidnapping of innocent Nigerians in Kankia and the Kusai local government area of my constituency in Katsina State.
The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, says Nigeria is stepping up engagement with its neighbors and other regional and international partners in order to stabilize the Sahel region. He was the chief host at the maiden annual international lecture by the News Agency of Nigeria with the theme Insecurity in the Sahel, dissecting Nigeria's challenges, genesis, impacts, and opinions, held in Abuja. Saliu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
Insecurity has remained a global challenge, particularly in the Sahel region. As a giant of Africa, Nigeria is sharing a long and porous border with countries in the Sahel and is increasing its security vulnerability. However, Nigeria, more than ever before, is working to turn the tide by strengthening its role on multinational joint task force and investment in equipment and manpower, as highlighted by the government's image maker.
Since his assumption of office 16 months ago, 12 aircraft have been acquired to boost the fighting capacity of our armed forces, among other investments in the sector. In his independence anniversary 2 days ago, the President succinctly captured the successes recorded thus, and I quote, "On the security front, I am happy to announce to you, my compatriots, that our administration is winning the war on terror and banditry. Our target is to eliminate all the threats of Boko Haram, banditry, kidnapping for ransom, and the scourge of all forms of violent extremism." End of quote. By understanding the root causes and evaluating the impact on our territorial integrity and implementing strategic policy measures, we can effectively address the challenges posed by this crisis.
He is confident that the future is assured in view of the successes being recorded in the fight against insecurity within 1 year of the current administration. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
Former Executive Director Programs of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Peter Igo, has been made the National Coordinator, National Senior Citizen Center and Goodwill Ambassador of Age-Friendly Service and Elder Justice. Elizabeth Omorui reports that this was at the National Media Veteran Roundtable, where professionals in the broadcast industries and entertainers were also announced Goodwill Ambassadors to champion the cause of the older population.
Taking steps to address challenges faced by its aging population, which is projected to triple by 2050. The likes of Mohamed Labo, Cyril Stoba, Danla Dibako, Tony Akposheri, and Chika Opala, also known as Zebodiah, have been appointed as Goodwill Ambassadors to utilize their expertise to come up with adaptable solutions to tackle issues affecting the aged.
It is up to us, the seniors, citizens, and those behind us to see how we could partner together so that the elders could impart the knowledge and wisdom.
I'm so happily grandiose that the government has come about to think about the elderly who have contributed so much in building of this nation.
The Minister of Information and National Orientation, in his message to the gathering, emphasized that caring for the elderly, along with the renewed hope agenda of the President and state governments as well as families, should help change the narrative around aging.
An advanced age is neither a call to redundancy nor its requirement a death sentence.
The engagement, the infrastructure, situates everybody within the context of development. Nobody gets life after 60 is not a death sentence.
Issues such as healthcare, financial inclusion, and stereotyping were raised as key areas to address. Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
The federal government is committing resources to ensure that the country achieves self-sufficiency in wheat production. This announcement coincides with Nigeria hosting the West and Central African Summit on wheat in Abuja. Musa Babaliu reports.
Countries across West and Central Africa have traditionally depended on wheat imports to meet the demands for one of the world's most important crops. Reports indicate that African continent spends $20 billion annually on wheat imports, with Nigeria alone importing 6 million metric tons, $100 billion each year. Nevertheless, Agricultural researchers believe that the continent has the capacity to achieve self-sufficiency in wheat production, reducing its reliance on imports.
Production of wheat is becoming very profitable because of the new varieties that have been released to farmers. Very high yielding, very responsive to the agronomic packages that were developed by my institute, Lecture Research Institute.
We have the ecology necessary to grow the wheat in our country. So Burkina Faso, you say, is a Sahelian zone, but we grow wheat.
This is our first interaction with this network.
This belief has spurred a gathering of researchers and key stakeholders in wheat production value chain from West and Central Africa to discuss strategies for enhancing wheat production in the regions.
As we convene today, we recognize the urgency of our mission, the impact of climate change, shifting agricultural practices, and the global demand for food necessitates that we innovate and adapt.
There's not much we can do in transforming the wheat sector if we don't invest in science, technology, and innovation. If you need a game-changing scheme, we must invest.
The summit's focal point is prioritizing policy, innovative technologies, and investment in wheat transformation towards sustainable food security and economy in West and Central Africa. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
You are watching NTA Ijebu ode news at 7. The news will continue after this break. Please stay tuned.
It's the Glow Festival of Joy and it's raining exciting prizes. Oh, for 120 days, we take it to the max. Mind-blowing, loaded prizes. Take John winning a tear rubber Toyota Prado by recharging up to 100,000 naira. And Sister T winning a Cha-Cha Kia Picanto by recharging up to 50,000 naira. From the sky coming to you,
yes, the gifts are unloading joy all over Nigeria.
From Toyota Prados to Kia Picantos, Keke Napets, generators, sewing machines, and even grinding machines. Just dial *611#. Choose your prizes, recharge the value for the month, and you too can win.
Whoa, you too can win, oh!
You are welcome back. Now to a bit of entertainment. This year's Olojo Festival were full of displaying of rich Yoruba culture and tradition, which puts the ancient city of Ile-Ife into a festive mood. Rotimi Akamo captured the mood of enthusiastic lovers of African tradition during the festival that lasts for 3 days.
Traditional drummers, amidst other exhibitions of Yoruba culture and traditions, were showcased at this year's Olojo Festival in the ancient city of Ile-Ife. Traditional rulers in Ile-Ife affirmed the significance of Olojo Festival to Yoruba race.
We are celebrating the Olojo Festival today to appreciate God, to use the year of the festival to request for more things in Nigeria, for we to have more peace, for we to have more forward ever, backward never into Nigeria.
Olojo means the day God has created the world and make Ile-Ife to be the source of mankind.
Yoruba people, both at home and diaspora, came out in large numbers with different traditional attires, which further showcase Yoruba cultural values. The symbol of the age-long festival, the Oni of Ife Obade Yogunsi, with his bearded and a crown, led sons and daughters of Yoruba race to Okemogun Shrine for prayers. Oni Ogunsi made historical outing on the second day of Olojo Festival by visiting his royal compound at Agbedegbede Ile-Ife on his royal carriage, which is second to none in Ife history.
Now to little bit of religion. Sultan of Sokoto and President General Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs Mohammed Saad Abubakar has declared Friday 4th October 2024 as the first day of Rabiu Sani 1446 AH. This is contained in a statement signed by the Chairman Advisory Committee on Religious Affairs of the Sultanate Council Sokoto, Professor Sambo Wali Junadu. The statement says this Sultanate Advisory Committee on Religious Affairs did not receive any report from various moon sighting committees across the country confirming the sighting of the crescent of Rabiu Awal 1446 AH. Therefore, Thursday 3rd October 2024 will be 30th Rabiu Awal 1446 AH. The Sultan has therefore accepted the report and accordingly declared Friday 4th October 2024 as first day of Rabiu Sani 1446 AH. That is the size of the bulletin tonight. Join us tomorrow for another interesting package. From me, good night.